I'm standing on my porch, staring at the blood-red glow clawing over the San Mateo hills. These hills, usually a postcard backdrop for dreamy Arizona sunsets, now look like the jaws of some fiery beast. The air slinking through my screen door reeks of scorched desert sage, sharp and bitter, like a campfire gone rogue. My stomach's twisting like I ate a gas station taco. This isn't your average brush fire, the kind that a few choppers snuff out by lunch. This one's got teeth, a personal grudge against our tidy little corner of Sunset Canyon Estates. Lisa, I see it. I mutter into my phone, my thumbs smudging the sweaty screen. My sister, Lisa, who lives a county over in Prescott, has been blowing up my phone every 10 minutes. Channel 9 says it jumped the firebreak at Cactus Ridge. How close are you to the evac zone? Still voluntary. Her voice is shrill, fraying like an old rope. They just bumped it to mandatory for the south side of town, Ethan. You guys okay? Should you get out? I try to sound calm, but my gut clenches as a gust of wind sends ash swirling like cursed confetti onto my freshly waxed Jeep. We're still a bit out, Lisa. Don't panic. The fire crews know their stuff. Sirens wail in the distance, growing louder, closer, not the usual fender-bender hum, but a desperate howl. A spark of hope flares in my chest. They're coming. A gleaming red fire engine, straight out of a hero's poster, roars into our cul-de-sac, lights flashing like a disco from hell. Its air brakes hiss with raw authority, and I feel my knees wobble with relief. These guys are the real deal, the kind who stare down flames that'd make a dragon beg for mercy. Our cookie-cutter lawns and SUVs should be a breeze. Or so I thought. Then she steps out, Marlene Pritchard, our HOA dictator, though empress of all things mundane, suits her better. She strides from her flawless taupe bungalow across the street, mid-50s, face carved with years of scowling at crooked mailboxes. She's decked out in a blinding teal tracksuit, the kind that screams, I power walk at 5 a.m. and ruin lives by noon. A VY sore clamps her oversprayed hair, and her clipboarder scepter of doom is glued to her hand. She marches toward the fire engine, now hooking up to a hydrant, with the swagger of a general eyeing a soldier with a smudge badge. Excuse me, Marlene's voice, a neighborhood staple of petty complaints, slices through the fire's distant roar and the engine's rumble. Excuse me, Chief. Fire Chief Daniels, his face a roadmap of exhaustion and grit, leans out the window. His eyes are sharp but polite, despite the soot streaking his jaw. Yes, ma'am. We need to set up here, check the houses, get hoses ready before that fire hits the ridge. He nods toward the glowing horizon. Marlene plants herself in front of the truck, forcing the driver to slam the brakes. Absolutely not, she declares, her tone dripping with the smug certainty of someone who's never admitted defeat. This vehicle VY OLATS, HOA Rule 14, Section B, Paragraph 3. No commercial vehicles over 10,000 pounds may park on residential streets longer than 10 minutes without board approval. You've been here, she glances at her silver watch, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And your tires are crushing Mrs. Larson's prize agave. That is separate violation under Landscaping Code 19, Section D. I can't help it. I step forward, dread pooling in my chest. Marlene, for God's sake, there's a wildfire practically knocking. They need to work. She whips her head toward me, eyes like twin daggers. Ethan, your chronic disrespect for community standards and your unapproved mailbox color are noted and will be discussed at next month's meeting. But an emergency, however sensationalized on the evening news, does not exempt anyone from our covenants. She turns back to Chief Daniels. Save the neighborhood if you must, but do it within the rules. Perhaps park on Juniper Lane. It's zoned for mixed use on Wednesdays. The firefighters, young guys mostly, stare at her, jaws slack like she's speaking in tongues. One pulls off his helmet, scratching his head as if decoding a riddle. The sky's glow deepens, shadows stretching like claws across the pavement. The air's hotter, This is bad, really bad. Chief Daniels takes a deep breath, the kind that says he's mentally counted to 15. Ma'am, every second we argue about parking is a second that fire gets closer. We need that hydrant. We need to clear some of that dry mesquite behind these house sits a fire trap. Marlene's eyes narrow to slits. Clearing vegetation? Is there a Form 4C for landscape modification, signed and notarized? And where's your environmental impact statement? We have endangered desert sparrows nesting in this zone. Disturbing them could trigger state wildlife fines, which the HOA will not cover. I groan, my blood pressure spiking. Desert sparrows? Marlene, the only thing nesting here is your ego. Those birds probably hightailed it to Nevada, which is where we'll all be if these guys can't do their job. Inside, I'm screaming. The whole state's a powder keg, and she's fretting over birds that probably migrated weeks ago. Then, a flicker of Salvation, a police cruiser rolls up, lights flashing. Officer Sanchez, fresh-faced and looking like he'd rather face a cartel than this, steps out. His partner, Officer Grayson, a grizzled vet with a mustache like a walrus, moves slower, eyes weary from years of human nonsense. What's the holdup? Grayson's voice is a low growl. We got reports of someone blocking emergency crews. That's a felony. Marlene clutches her clipboard like a shield. Officers, thank goodness. This fire crew is flouting clear HOA rules. Their truck is leaking fluid, a hazmat issue. I'll add in they're threatening to bulldoze Mrs. Larson's award-winning cacti. Chief Daniels pinches his nose, Leah VYing a soot smudge. She won't let us move the truck or touch the hydrant. She's threatening lawsuits if we trim a single Palo Verde. The fire's now a VYVYD red wave, maybe 8 minutes from cresting the ridge. My heart sinks. 8 minutes? In fire time, that's nothing. She's going to get us all torched over a rule about tire tracks and sparrow feelings. I shout, louder than I mean to. Officer Sanchez, clearly out of his depth, tries, "Ma'am, this is a state emergency. Under Arizona Penal Code, local rules are suspended to save lives and property." He sounds like he's reading a cue card. Marlene puffs up like a VY purr. "Young man, I have our HOA attorney, Mr. Reginald Voss of Voss, Vance, and Vellum, on speed dial. He's an expert at suing cities for overreach. Are you prepared to be named in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit for property damage, ecological sabotage, and emotional trauma of ignoring our sacred bylaws?" Grayson sighs, a sound heavy with "not this again." The firefighters are antsy, unfolding maps, whispering urgently, but their truck stuck, held hostage by a one-woman rulebook. The smoke's thicker now, stinging my eyes, carrying the acrid whiff of burning tires and melted siding. Embers, big and angry, drift down like hell's snowflakes. One singes my arm, Leah VYing a blister. Another scorches Marlene's tracksuit, Leah VYing a black mark she swats at, unfazed. Chief Daniels is on his radio, voice tight, likely begging for air support that's tied up elsewhere. Officer Grayson tries reasoning with Marlene, but she's now citing decibel limits for diesel engines, while VYing a laminated chart. The wind shifts, and a shower of embers lands, one sparking on Mrs. Larson's prized yucca. The irony's brutal. I'm done. This isn't funny Anna Marie, it's life or death. My eyes dart across the chaos. Helpless firefighters, neighbors peeking from windows, flames marching closer. Then it hits Muter. A ton of water, dropped exactly where it's needed. A wild, probably illegal idea blooms in my smoke-addled brain. I flash back to 3 years ago, grinning like a fool on a sun-baked airstrip outside Flagstaff. Next to me, a battered yellow Grumman S2 tracker, a retired fireplane, its paint chipped, props like ancient relics. My pal Joe, a crusty X-Crop duster, laughed. "You bought it, Ethan. 30 tons of outdated, gas-chugging junk. What's the plan? Start a sky-high car wash?" I'd smirked. "Call extreme landscaping, Joe. Or maybe a giant water gun for a really bad day." I'd earned my multi-engine rating for kicks, then, through a shady deal and an FAA guy obsessed with my antique coin collection, got a special permit for agricultural and emergency water drops. Mostly, I loved the S2's thunderous engines and the sheer gall of owning it. I'd fitted a custom water tank, kept it full out of habit, never dreaming I'd need a tunnel now. Back in reality, embers fall like hail, and Marlene's demanding the truck's emission certificate. My arm throbs. It's go time. I slip away, unnoticed amid Marlene's tirade. As a flaming chunk lands on Mrs. Larson's cactus, I sprint to my Jeep. My airstrip, a cracked stretch of asphalt from an old cattle ranch, is a mile out. My Jeep screams down a dusty back road, smoke choking my lungs, the landscape a hazy nightmare. The fire's roar is a beast gnawing the hills. I skid to a stop by my rusted hangar. The S2, my Condor, sits under a tarp, clumsy as a grounded whale, but to me a goddess. My mechanic Gus, a wiry grouch with oil-stained hands, spots me. "Don't tell me you're thinking it, Ethan," he rasps, eyeing the smoke. "That plane hasn't flown loaded in ages, and you ain't cleared for active fire zones." "No time, Gus." I yank the tarp, dust exploding. "Is she fueled?" "Water tank full." I'd had a gut feeling after last month's winds, urging me to fill the Condor. Gus grunts close enough to a yes. "Fuel's good, water's full. But the FAL roast you alive. Better than roasting here." I climb into the cockpit, heart pounding. The pre-flight's a blur switches, gauges, the smell of leather and fuel. I strap in, hit the starters. The left engine coughs, then roars. The right groans, but catches, the Condor shaking like a waking giant. I yell to Gus, "Clear out unless you want a front row seat." Headset on, I switch to the local frequency, voice shaky. "Uncontrolled traffic. This is experimental aircraft, November 88 Echo Lima. Call sign Aqua Ethan, taking runway for urgent ops near the Sunset Canyon fire." It sounds badass, not like I made it up staring at a flickering oil gauge. The Condor, heavy with 3,400 gallons, lumbers down the strip, sluggish. The runway's end a clump of scorched pines rushes up. "Come on, girl," I beg, pulling back. She lifts, groaning but airborne. Below, the fire's a levying monster, swallowing hills, spitting embers on her rooftops. The fire truck's still stuck, pinned by Marlene's crusade. I switch to the fire cruise channel, thumb trembling. "Fire command, Sunset Canyon. This is CIVY Lien Air Support, Aqua Ethan." "Copy." Static, then Chief Daniels, stunned. "Identify yourself. You're in restricted airspace. Divert now, or face the F." "No divert, Chief. I see your problem a code, Karen holding you up. I've got 3,400 gallons ready to drop in 2 minutes. It'll clear your path. Your call, or I'm just a guy with a front row seat to a barbecue." Silence. Then Officer Grayson, half laughing, half horrified. "Ethan Parker, you lunatic. What the hell are you doing?" "Community Ser VYC, Grayson. Tell Marlene to grab an umbrella." I bank the Condor, turbulence bucking like a bronco. The smoke stings, heat pulsing through the cockpit. My target, the scrubland by the houses, with a fire's fiercest stand right by Marlene's pristine lawn. Poetic. I line up, heart slamming. The drop lever and red button are ready. Too early, I drench the crew. Too late, I miss the fire. One shot. "Condor, you glorious beast," I whisper. "For the sparrows, the agave, and freedom from hostlets make it rain." I slam the button. The plane surges, 14 tons lighter. Below, a silver cascade glitters, then crashes, dousing the fire's edge in Marlene's yard. The radio erupts. "Chief Daniels, direct hit. It's slowing the flank." Grayson laughing. "Ethan, you mad genius. Hero or felon, I can't decide." Then faint Marlene's wail, "My cacti, my dignity. This is assault." Oops, she got more than a sprinkle. I circle once, seeing steam rise where flames were. The fire's not out, but the crew's MOVYing, hoses out, attacking the weakened line. I head back, dread creeping in. The FAA's gonna eat me alive. I land bumpy, legs shaky. 3 cop cars, lights flashing, wait by the hangar, plus Chief Daniels' truck. Marlene, a soggy teal mess, her clipboard pulp, glares like I murdered her soul. Officer Sanchez stifles a laugh. Grayson approaches, grinning. "Ethan Parker, you have the right to remain silent. Also, the right to explain what kind of crazy drove you to commit a dozen felonies in 6 minutes." I shrug. Seemed smart at the time. Did it help? Chief Daniel shakes my hand, his grip steel. Help? You gave us the window to save this block. Reckless, but damn beautiful. My wife's baking you cookies. Marlene lunges, pointing. He's a menace. He targeted my imported succulents and me. This is assault with a deadly plane. Arrest him, fine him, burn his license. I try. Marlene, it was for sufficient emergency sprinkler upgrade. Your cacti were just extra thirsty. Gus, smirking, adds, told you the FAA'd feast on you. The next day, the fire's pushed back. Our street safe. Contractors clear brush, but Marlene's at it again, defending a charred saguaro. It's a heritage plant, she snaps. I sip coffee, smiling. Marlene, the condor's got 1,000 gallons left. I could flush it over, say, that sorrower, an ex-HOA boss blocking safety. She pales, relents. The crew works. The FAA hits me with fines and restrictions, but the story goes VY Raul Marlene's drenched meltdown a hit. Chief Daniels calls me heroic on TV. The mayor praises citizen grit. Neighbors crowdfund my fine VY Aqua Ethan's wild ride. Marlene sues everyone, but Judge Clara no-nonsense Norton, after seeing the VY Deo, suggests an umbrella and therapy. Case dismissed. The HOA boots Marlene after a 99-fan tram vote, erecting a plaque. In July 2025, common sense soared and doused bureaucracy. Thanks, Aqua Ethan. The sparrows approve. Life's back to normal, or close. The hills are scarred, but green sprouts push through. The sparrows return, per Mrs. Larson, who now sees me as a bird saint. Kids cheer when I taxi the condor for its regulated runs. Little Tommy Larson asks, Mr. Parker, you're going to splash the bad guys again? I wink. Only if they're real bad. Tommy, and standing under a perfectly timed puddle. Some days, you follow rules. Others, you see a fire eating your home, an HOA tyrant quoting bylaws, and you make it rain. Sometimes, that's what makes a hero or at least a hell of a tale. So what do you think? Was I a reckless fool, or a neighborhood SAVY? Or should Marlene have been doused again for her saguaro stunt? Drop your take below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories. Could you defy the rules in a crisis, or would you play by the book?